Hello everyone, welcome to another part of reading. So what I'm feeling is like I'm not that consistent about reading. That's why my reading is not that good. So that's why I'm pushing myself to read more and more. And if it's about making content, so it's giving me some encouragement, some motivation to read more. So that's why today I'm going to read with you guys. Last day we were reading the Atomic Habits, so we are going to read from the number 43 pages. The topic is the science of how habits work. Okay, let's get started. So as usual, let me tell you how I read. I have two sections of my windows. On the right, I have the book. On the left, I have the ChatGPT, and I have an extension called Saladict, which is giving me the pronunciation, the Cambridge pronunciation, and then they're also explaining me in English. Okay. So let's get started. We're going to read maybe 20-25 minutes. Okay. So the science of how habits work. The process of building a habit can be divided into 4 simple steps: cue, craving, response, and reward. Breaking it down into these fundamental parts can help us understand what a habit is, how it works, and how to improve it. I can see here is a picture. Number 1, cue. Number 2, craving. Number 3, response. And number 4, reward. And there is a time limitation. Okay. This 4-step pattern is the backbone of every habit. And your brain runs through these 4 steps in the same order each time. First, there is the cue. The cue triggers your brain to initiate a behavior. It is a bit of information that predicts reward. Our prehistoric ancestors were paying attention to cues that signaled the location of primary rewards like food, water, and sex. Today, we spend most of our time. Is that a illegal word for the YouTube? I don't know. Okay, let me know in the comment box. Today, we spend most of our time learning cues that predict secondary rewards like money and fame, power and status, praise and approval, love and friendship, or a sense of personal satisfaction. Of course, these pursuits also indirectly improve our odds of survival and reproduction, which is deeper motive behind everything we do. Your mind is continuously analyzing your internal and external environment for hints of where rewards are located, because the cue is the first indication that we are close to a reward. It naturally leads to a craving. Cravings are the second step, and they are the motivational force behind every habit. Without some level of motivation or desire, without craving a change, we have no reason to act. What you crave is not the habit itself, but the change in stage in deliveries. You do not crave smoking a cigarette. You crave the feeling of relief it provides. You are not motivated by brushing your teeth, but rather by the feeling of clean mouth. You do not want to turn on the television. You want to be entertained. Every craving is linked to a desire to change your internal state. It is an important point that we will discuss in detail later. Cravings differ from person to person. In theory, any piece of information could trigger a craving. But in practice, people are not motivated but the same cue. For a gambler, the sound of slot machine can be a potent trigger that sparks an intense wave of desire. For someone who rarely gambles, the jingles and the chimes of the casino are just background noise. Cues are meaningless until they're interpreted. The thoughts, feelings, and emotions of the observer are what transform a cue into a craving. Okay, I got some new vocabs such as jingles. I know that maybe. Chimes, I'll have to see the pronunciation of it. Then interpreted. Okay, I'll see that as well. Let me see that. First of all, the word called jingles. Then chimes, I don't know. Then interpreted. Okay, let me see the pronunciation as well. So the jingle, that means short, catchy song or tunes used in advertisement to make people remember a product. Okay, the company created a fun jingle for its new soft drinks. Okay, understandable. Let me see the pronunciation of it. Chimes. Chime. The pronunciation is chime. By the way, I'm following the UK pronunciation. The chime. So chime means a set of metal tubes or bells that make a pleasant ringing sound when struck or moved by the wind. I see. Okay. Maybe I know that thing. I heard the church chimes ringing at noon. Church chime. Okay. In Bengali, it is called junjuri. I'm not sure though. Okay. Chimes. Yeah, okay, understandable. Interpretate. Let me see this one. Interpret. That means interpretate. Okay. So explained or understood the meaning of something in particular way. Interpretate. His silence was interpreted as a sign of disagreement. Okay, interpreted. I'm not so sure about it, but I think I got it. Okay, let's move to the next one. The third step is the response. The response is the actual habit you perform, which can take the form of a thought or an action. Whether a response occurs depends on how motivated you are and how friction is associated with the behavior. If a particular action requires more physical or mental effort than you are willing to expend, then you won't do it. Your response also depends on your ability. It sounds simple, but a habit can occur only if you are capable of doing it. If you want to dunk a basketball, but you can't jump high enough to reach the hoop, well, you are not out of luck. Okay, let me read the sentence again. I think it's a beautiful sentence. If you want to dunk, let me see the meaning of dunk. I think maybe, giving into the net. Let me see that. To briefly dip something into a liquid. Okay. Dunk. To briefly dip something into a liquid. She dunked her biscuit into the tea. That's a really, really important word, I think. Okay. So she dunked her biscuit into the tea. Okay, we can make other sentences as well. I dunked my brother into the river and he was annoyed about it. Okay, that could be a good word, I think. Yeah. Okay, so if you want to dunk a basketball, can't jump high enough to reach the hoop, well, you're out of this. You're out of luck. Why am I out of luck? If you want to dunk a basketball but can't jump high enough to reach the hoop, that means that net, I'm not sure. Well, you're out of luck. Why am I out of luck? Okay, yeah, band ring, something made of metal, plastic, I don't know. Okay, finally, the response deliveries are reward. Rewards. Okay, let me see the pronunciation of rewards or something else. Is it something else? Rewards are the end goal of every habit. Yeah, I know that. Rewards. Reward. Ah, okay, yeah. Thanks God, I see that. Reward. Okay, that's a good pronunciation. That's a good thing to pronounce. Rewards. Okay, that's funny, isn't it? Like if you go for the pronunciation at the beginning, it will be funny most of the time. It will be weird, and people will mock you because it will not be 100%. Like it will be like the way the foreigners speak in Bengali. It will be like that. So it's pretty normal to be funny, to be weird in front of the people. It's okay, no problem. Practice more and more. It will be okay. Yeah. Rewards are the end goal of every habit. Yeah, okay. The cue is about noticing the reward. The craving is about wanting the reward. The response is about obtaining the reward. We chase rewards because they serve two purposes. They satisfy us and they teach us. The first purpose of rewards is to satisfy your craving. Yes, rewards provide benefits on their own. Food and water deliver the energy you need to survive. Getting a promotion brings more money and respect. Getting in shape improves your health and your dating prospect. But the more immediate benefit is that rewards satisfy your craving to eat or to gain status or to win approval. At least for a moment, rewards deliver contentment and relief from the craving. Let me see the meaning of contentment. I read this word before, but I couldn't remember. Contentment. Okay. Contentment. A state of happiness and satisfaction, feeling pleased with what you have. Okay. Reward deliver contentment and relief from the craving. So she felt a sense of contentment after finishing her work. So in Bengali, সন্তুষ্টি তৃপ্তি এমন অনুভূতি যখন কেউ যা আছে তাতে খুশি থাকে. Okay. Shantushti or tripti. That should be the main point of contentment. Shantushti or thrifty. Okay. Let me read the sentence again. At least for a moment, rewards deliver contentment. Okay, got it. Rewards deliver contentment and relief for craving. Meaningful. Okay. Second, rewards teach us which action are worth remembering in the future. Your brain is reward detector. As you go about your life, your sensory nervous system is continuously monitoring which action satisfy your desires and deliver pleasure. Feelings of pleasure and disappointment are part of the feedback mechanism that helps your brain distinguish useful action from useless one. I think those are really critical to understand for me. But no problem. I'm trying to understand, so it's okay. Rewards close the feedback loop and complete the habit cycle. If a behavior of sufficient in any of our four stages, it will not become a habit. Eliminate the cue and your habit will never start. Reduce a craving and you won't experience enough motivation to act. Make the behavior difficult and you won't be able to do it. And if the reward fails. I'm trying to pronounce that one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So okay, I just lost it. If a behavior, okay, make the behavior difficult and you won't be able to do it. And if the reward fails to satisfy your desire, then you will have no reason to do it again in future. Without the first three steps, a behavior will not occur. Without all four, a behavior will not be repeated. Okay. Yeah, so that's basically really important to know how to build a behavior. Okay, so they explained the writer explained 4 stages of behavior. The title of this paragraph was like, this section was the science of how habit works. Okay, let's go for the next one. We have more time. The habit loop. Okay, cue, craving, reward, response. Okay. In summary, the cue triggers a craving, which motivates a response, which provides a reward. Okay, that was a quite good one, I think. Which satisfies the craving and ultimately becomes associated with the cue. Together, these 4 steps form a neurological feedback loop. Cue, craving, response, reward. Cue, craving, response, reward. That ultimately allows you to create atomic habits. This cycle is known as the habit loop. This 4-step process is not something that happens occasionally, but rather it is an endless feedback loop that is running and active during every moment you are alive, even now. The brain is continually scanning the environment, predicting what will happen next, trying out different responses and learning from the results. The entire process is completed in a split of second, and we use it again and again without realizing everything that has been packed into previous moment. Okay, we can split these 4 steps into 2 phases: the problem phase and the solution phase. The problem phase includes the cue and the craving, and it is when you realize that something needs to change. The solution phase includes the response and the reward, and it is when you take action and achieve the change you desire. I don't know. So, like, for me, reading is really tough. Still now, I'm feeling really hard to understand the whole idea, but I'm trying. So as I started, I think it's gonna be okay. I mean, that's the motivation. If I do that something more and more and more, so it's going to be easy in future. Okay, all behavior is driven by the desire to solve a problem. Sometimes the problem is that you notice something good and you want to obtain it. Sometimes the problem is that you are experiencing pain and you want to relieve it. Either way, the purpose of every habit is to solve the problems you face. In the table on the following page, you can see a few examples of what these looks like in real life. Imagine walking into a dark room and flipping on the light switch. You have performed this simple habit so many times that it occurs without thinking. You proceed through all 4 stages in the fraction of a second. The urge to act strikes you without thinking. Problem. Okay, there is a chart here, like a table. Problem. The first stage is problem phase, cue, and craving. For cue, the phone budges with a new text message. Craving, you want to learn content of the message. Okay, solution phase, response. You grab your phone and read the text. Okay, reward, you satisfy your craving to read the message. Grabbing your phone becomes associated with your phone budging. Okay, problem phase, cue. You are answering emails. Another example. Craving. You begin to feel stressed and overwhelmed by work. You want to feel in control. Solution phase, response. You bite your nails. Okay, weird. You satisfy your craving to reduce stress. Biting your nails becomes associated with answering mails. Okay, there are a lot of examples here. I'm not going to read it. The last paragraph of this part, I'm going to read that one. By the time we become adults, we rarely notice the habits that are running our lives. Most of us never give a second thought to think. Thought. I learned it from pronunciation with Emma. I'm not so sure about it. To the fact that we tie the same shoe first each morning, or unplug the toaster after each use. Okay, I can relate about the tying the shoelaces. Okay, or always changing to comfortable clothes after getting home from work. After decades of mental programming, we automatically slip into these patterns of thinking and acting. Okay, that's it for today. The next section of this book is the 4 laws of behavior change. I think we are going to read together that one as well. So if you want to improve your grammars, if you want to improve your reading vocabs, you can read newspaper, you can read books. It's really helpful. I mean, if it's about the books, you will feel boring sometimes, because I had the experience of reading books a lot, but I read the Bengali books a lot. So I have the experience how it works. For me, like the English books are really, really tough, really, so like it's really boring to me, but I'm hoping that it will be pretty enjoyable for me in future if I read it that way. So guys, I think for sake of your betterment of your good English, you should go for it. And I hope that you let me know how you're doing in your reading section in the comment box. Thank you very much for watching this whole video. We will meet in the next video. Till then, Allah Hafiz.